Hi, welcome to Professor Black's History. Glad you could join us. Again, there's nothing wrong with your screen or with the lighting. We come to you from the shadows until African American and Black history are taken out of the shadows of history textbooks. So, with that said, let's talk about today. Of course, you never know what's going to be said about you when you pass away. We're all going to go, but we all leave a legacy behind, some kind of legacy, that you want it to be a positive one. But all you got to do is continue to work hard, do you, and eventually history will record what you did, and depending on how many people you help, you may be remembered by a lot. For example, the people we talk about today is the 369th Infantry Regiment, the Harlem Hellfighters. You never heard of these guys? Well, let me tell you, they were some Hellfighters. Actually, Harlem Hellfighters started in 1916, formed as the 15th New York National Guard. They were federalized in 1917 and became the 369th Regiment of the 93rd Division. And they were the best known African American unit of World War I. Now, many African Americans served in World War I, but many of them served in Europe and they did not get into battle. They did things like build bridges and roads, but they never got into battle. Well, these guys, they actually got to fight. And when they got their chance to fight, they did it very well. They were manned with African American and white officers, as well as African American enlisted men. And they were sent to Europe in 1917, and they were put under French control because the French needed troops, and these are the troops that the Americans gave them. These guys went into battle, and they was part of the French 161st Division. And when they got into battle, they earned that name. They called themselves the Men of Bronze. But the Germans, because of the way they fought and all the hell they gave them while fighting them, they called them the Hellfighters. And they spent 191 days in combat. That's longer than any other United States unit. And these guys, the bad thing about it was they didn't get replacements. So they had a lot of people injured, a lot of people killed, but they never got the replacement that they were supposed to get. So they continued to hold their own, and actually was the first unit to reach the Rhine. Many of them run the French Medal of Honor, and their record in World War I can compare to any group in World War I. And the regiment won the Distinguished Service Medal from the French as well. The Harlem Hellfighters also had a great band. The band was under the direction of James Reese Europe. And James Reese Europe was a jazz master, and he introduced jazz to Europe. And of course, jazz became a big thing in Europe. Even today, jazz is probably just as big, if not bigger, in Europe than it is here in the United States. But James Reese Europe and the band for the 369th were the ones who introduced that music around the world. Now, when they left Harlem, or left New York to go to France in December of 1917, they were not allowed to participate in the parade because the weak reason given was that the division's name was the Rainbow Division, and black was not a color of the rainbow. Well, when they returned in 1919, they not only came back with honors, but they marched all the way through Harlem in the parade. And when they got through Harlem, of course, tens of thousands of people were there to welcome them and, of course, cheer them on. Now, they didn't make a lot of things better in the United States as far as political things go, because they did fight, and there was some division in the African American community about should they or should not fight. But these guys, they went to war and they did America proud. The Harlem Hellfighters, the 369th Infantry. Pick up a book or go to the internet and read about them. The next time, got something great, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be right here on Professor Black's History.